Well, greetings everybody, and welcome to yet another fresh, hot off the air, or on the air actually, edition of the Inworld review. This is a show where we sort of buzz around the hypergrid. Really, the hypergrid is a system that connects all the hundreds, thousands maybe of virtual worlds together, so long as they're authored using Open Simulator software, which is a variant of the original Second Life software. Then they can be connected together. You can jump from one grid, as the worlds are called, to another, and then any location on that grid. It's a wild west, except it's not as wild as you think. It's the open spaces of the spaces being the operative word of the internet. Okay, my name is Mal Burns. I'm your never get rid of me, basically, host. And I'm joined on my left-hand side by the wonderful Tosha Ryran, my co-host. So welcome, Tosha. You're muted.
Might be muted. I'm sorry, I'm having a sound problem.
Oh, really? Can you now?
I only hear bits and pieces.
Oh.
It's the same here, too. It's a little broken up.
Oh.
Right. Don't know what to do about that. Should we restart the show, James?
It seems like Discord is going to be problematic, whatever. So.
Oh.
Okay. Naughty old Discord. Okay. Yeah. Well, unless
just give me a kick under the table when I have to say something.
Right. That will hurt my toes because there's no you here to kick. These are virtual worlds. I give a kick under the table and all I hit is myself. Right.
Would it be helpful if I typed a cue into the chat, into the group chat?
Yeah.
I can help. I can support.
Oh yes, I can't see that. Although James, I think, can.
You mean in the Discord chat?
In the Discord group chat, and then that way you can get your cues that way.
Yeah. I don't know why I had Inworld voice on, not as I can hear it. It's not. This is conversation based. It's the only way we can do it. We just have to hope for the best. Okay, well, folks, I'm very sorry about that. You're actually hearing us trying to troubleshoot live. We're not very good at troubleshooting, let alone doing it live. So we're going to carry on with the show and hope that our voices sort of improve somewhat. With the audio system. Okay, on my right-hand side is the right-hand man, as it were, the forever sitting knob fiddler called James Atlloud. I'm referring, of course, to the audio and visual controls. And if my voices are breaking up, it has nothing to do with him. He's doing his best. So welcome, James.
Oh, thank you, Mal. As always, it's fun to be here.
Right, and I can just about hear you, so I think we're okay.
Yeah.
Right, so we've got some guests with us. The thing they have in common, really, they're all from Groovyverse, which is a grid we've visited a couple of times, I think, with Safari. And they're also, on Friday, they held a second anniversary sort of party thing, which was mostly it was a pride, I think is. We'll talk about this in a second. But they've also got a Burning Man region where they burn the man. I think you all know about Burning Man. And of course, there are some other wonderful areas of Groovyverse too. So we're going to cover kind of a little bit of it. Anyway, I'll tell you who we've got here. We've got Hyacinth, which is the middle name I'm going to be using. Hyacinth Jean. Anyway, yes. Welcome, Hyacinth.
Well, hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Right. And Dr. Dave, as he's known. Welcome, Dave.
Hello, how you doing?
Absolutely fine, thank you. This is your voice, very prominent there. And finally, Nomad, I'm going to call her. Her avatar handle is Grid Nomad, but it seems a bit odd to call you Grid, so I'm going to call you Nomad. Welcome, Nomad.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I like Nomad. That works. And I just want to fangirl for a second here and just say how honored we are to be here. We watched the show, and and learn about new places that I would have never known about. So thanks so much for doing this show, all of you. It is appreciated.
Well, it's nice to have you here too. So thank you very much for that. Right. No, I'm going to click down here. What am I looking for? Still pictures, I believe I want. Okay. We no longer do a full Hypergrid happenings on the show for the moment, but a couple of posters I got up today. Oh, that's for our other thing. Right. This is a news flash. This is actually Virtual Worlds Education Consortium. And they're going to be hosting monthly Hypergrid tours. Yes, you heard it, Hypergrid. That's us, right? On the fourth Thursday of every month at 10 a.m. grid time, which in Europe is about 6 or 7 p.m. 10 a.m. is Pacific, I guess. So the first one is going to be on June the 27th, which is literally this coming Thursday. And they're going to go horseback riding on La Califa, a project in the Terra Viva landscape architecture competition. And it reimagines an agricultural site into a cultural and historical landmark filled by the poem and film La Califa by Alberto Bellivacqua. So where are you? I can't pronounce that. Right, envisaged by Richard Whitehurst, a graduation student of Academy of Art in San Francisco. It embraces natural decay and eco-agriculture. And significant contributions from Jimmy Olsen, who we know, Maximus Lear, who we know, and Indigo Moon, who I think we know too. They'll be immediately on the Kitely hub. And after a brief welcome, they'll be going to the destination grid. This is actually an actual Hypergrid operation, even though they're meeting on Kitely. I believe there was a Kitely tour thing at an earlier point, which didn't leave Kitely. But this is a full Hypergrid tour, but they meet on Kitely, and the region is Cookie too, on Kitely, where they meet. Okay, for that one. This we'll be talking about in a minute. This happened on Friday, so it's not coming up at all. But this is the title for the event that actually took place on Friday. And Huge Burn is the name of the grid, by the way. But we'll get to that later. And hang on, what am I doing here? Yeah, I'm missing a picture. Ah, here it is. Okay. And this one again is happening this week. This is June the 28th, which I think will be Saturday next week. It's certainly before our next show anyway. Torben Asp is an electronic musician, and they're doing a sort of a special event in his honor.
It's Friday.
It's Friday.
Friday, yes.
Yeah, it's 23rd today, so that figures right. And his legacy. So they're holding the event on Pangea Grid, and the region you want on Pangea is actually simple: Torben Asp Memorial. But there are spaces between the three words, so you don't need to squash them together like sometimes we do. So actually he was a wonderful musician as well, so that should be a really nice, fine event to attend. And so those were my two Hypergrid happenings for this week, basically. God, we don't do that very much, do we? Right, okay, going back down the road here. Right, Safari Roundup. That's my little title screen for that now. And I'm switching over to Thursday's blog for Hypergrid Safari. The address is hgsafari.blogspot.com. And she had 3 posts this week, basically. One on Monday was all about Dan Banner on OpenSim. He had a little exhibit thing called Recreation. And as usual, Thursday managed to take a few pictures, well, just a couple really, of what was actually going there. And bit of the colourful one there. Some of these almost deserve to be animated GIFs, but of course she only gave us one there. But anyway, it's a media experience, and as she tells you on the blog, highly recommended. So read the blog too at hgsafari.blogspot.com. And she has 2 reports from this week's Hypergrid Safari. A change of venue. This is kind of interesting. As or not, this coming Wednesday will be the final safari of season 2. So it'll be back in, I think it's August, autumn anyway. And so the normal meeting place is on OS Grid. But when a new season arrives, Safari has a new clubhouse on a new region all of its own. And these are just a few photos taken last week as we took the crowd there to have a look at it. That's an aerial shot, by the way, of the Safari region on the new grid. And if you look
really
carefully,
cool.
there's an elephant. Look, that's a trunk. Yeah, that's a leg, and that's a leg. Yeah, so I mean, we're used to giraffes with safari, but in this case, it's actually elephant. So that's rather wonderful aerial view there. This was I was sitting around in the new clubhouse, which looks surprisingly like the old one, except there's a lovely archive of old Hypergrid adventures up on the hill behind, and quite a few other things that we visited. There's admiring her pets. Not sure about that one, but you know, each to their own.
I've survived it, so it's fine.
Right, you sat on it, did you?
I sat on it. It was fine.
Yes, only James could sit on an alligator or crocodile or whatever it is. Okay, yep. Sort of a tribute to Hamish Menges there, of course, too. Another shot of the general areas. There's a boating area too, and the whole region is set in another region called Safari Sea. So you can actually take boats and things on it. So we'll be hearing a lot more about her plans for that as time goes by. That's where the archive is. Suitable Safari Jeep hanging around outside it. There we are. These are the main areas. Safari Market, which is, you know, where this used to be right by the clubhouse. So it's now a bit further away. Clubhouse itself, self-guided tours, which are more or less the same as we have on the Avacon region's Safari Grid. And yeah, the archive again. Close up at the shopping bits. And that's a map of the grid, which is very interesting. You'll see Safari Sea there. And you've got HG Safari just off it there. There's another region, sort of invite only, really, I think, which is a sort of demonstration area for Mumble technology. Mumble is the system by which they're hoping to bring some in-world voice to replace Vivox. And they've got an art area there, and then the Hypergrid International Expo, of course. And although these are kind of locked down a bit at the moment, as you can tell, I think the idea is you would ultimately be able to land in the Safari Sea in a little island and take a boat to whichever region you're meant to be going to. Something like that, anyway. So that looks nice. Teleports to the various areas there, including, well, that's to us here on Inworld Reviews region. And yeah, and to the Expo region. That probably looks very familiar to anybody who came last year, but it's actually been redone. It's keeping the nightclub look and everything else. But I think it's Tosha here. Did you revise the tables so we got a tree underneath now?
No, that was Thyrsa's idea, and she did it also.
Oh, actually, it's my idea. I thought she sent you to. Right. Yeah, we wanted to change underneath and the twisty thing.
I'm going to fix the chairs up. The chairs have been a little more simplified also. Not that that twisted leg anymore, but just a straight up and down leg. And I will be doing fixing it up with some new sitting animations.
All right. And the landing area now for HIE will be off at the side here by the water and whatever, and you'll go in this area. So it's all a little bit different. Our change and stuff. And yeah, another Hypergrid Safari. I think that is still another building on OS Grid. I think she was mentioning that in some context. Anyway, but the other place we went to midweek on Safari, Thank you. What do you mean it's not there? There we are. Right. We went to Sunny's region on the Africa region on. I forgot the name of the grid or alternative. I've forgotten what grid it was, but you may remember if you're watching last week's show, we had Sunny here talking all about her Africa region. So these are just a few extra photos that there's a talk on safari. Very colourful. She's very into the, I suppose, ethnic, cultural stuff. This is all African style art and prints, although she does have another region called Shanti, which is more Indian based.
Well, you know, the thing is that Sunshine lived herself about 20 years in South Africa, and she's now in the United Kingdom living, but she will return soon to South Africa. So she has a very close connection to the South African culture and especially the South African jazz.
Yeah.
And it shows everywhere you go. It's a really wonderful region and very, very educative.
Absolutely. I thoroughly enjoyed it there. And very chill. I mean, I don't always appreciate playing some of the music in World that people play, but this was wonderful. I mean, it was it was jazz, but it's also ethnic too. I detected some bits I thought it kind of came from Zulu. I had an old LP.
And it has links all over the place where you can, you know, that are connected with URLs and connected to music, connected to background, connected to culture. It's really very, very well made. The whole region. It's very close. The real life and the virtual life together. You know.
Yeah. And there we are, of course, dancing in the jazz club too. There were 2 jazz clubs, in fact, but we were dancing.
Really beautiful region.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mal, the grid is virtual-worlds.zone, if that helps.
Of course it is. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Virtual zone.
Virtual-worlds.zone.
Virtual-worlds-zone. Zone. Never mind. You look at last week's show and we got it on screen somewhere.
Right.
Right. We won't replay all of that too long. Anyway, there she is too, and of course she's hosting one radio station there and playing the music. But there's actually several. There's one that actually plays that particular region, and there's another one which is sort of eclectic it's jazz music from all over South Africa. So she's got the whole works there, really. Okay, now finally, I've dug up an old HG Safari post called from February last year called "Safari Meets the Man." And why would I do this? Well, for one thing, there's Dr. Dave's name. Okay, this was a visit by Safari to the very region where we're going to be talking about in a second. So I'll just get these recollections out the way. Who's who here? They've probably people in the studio here wearing different avatars. I don't know, but lovely. This is an animated GIF, of course, so it really picks up that sky. And I think we were focusing on the roadway when we were here last. But I guess you guys recognize all this, don't you?
Oh yeah, that's Herbie's region.
Yeah,
Herbie
it's nearby. This isn't all the region. Yeah. Is that me driving? It certainly looks like it. Wobbling everywhere. Right, and this is part of something we'll be discussing later. This is actually a sort of snowman-like structure, but this is the player, which is away from that built-up area, and they've got the Burning Man, which you may have heard of there as well. That is nice lighting and nice photography around. Bit of open space there, and a few indoors bits. Right. Here we are. This is again the same region. Oh, and we'll be. Yes. Do you see who's driving that train by any chance? Whether it's, I don't know how big the picture is for you, but that is James. I swear. He's dancing. He's not sitting. He's dancing. I guess he's got the footsteps to make the engine work. You know,
I remember that train ride.
Yeah. And yeah, here's the gang of us all hanging around there. And a bit more of the train from the aerial view. And here we go over the hill top, basically. And this is a long view of the burn region. You can't actually see the man on any of these, but I think oh, there we are. No, that's not the. Well, that's not the man they burn. That's a pretty big. There's another one.
Oh, they burn everything.
Right. Okay. So, Eddie, I'm going to switch to our regular stuff in a minute. So, any other comments on these pictures, folks? That maybe anything in these pictures that aren't covered by the other pictures you brought? Oh, there's the burn. No. Yep. Okay. So there. Oh, yeah, this works quite well as a slideshow because everybody's there. The next shot has it there, and then the next shot, and the next shot. This well, you see it incrementally burning. Is what I was trying to say. It starts like that, and then it moves to burning like that. And
they get dangerous. You have burn debris raining down on you.
And it's a kind of cathartic because you create these beautiful things and then you're able to set fire to them, and that process is fascinating, and I think it's gets down to your lizard brain of the primal thing about fires and gathering around fires, and then watching this thing that someone created go up, and then it falls apart, and then we dance on the embers and we kick things around like soccer pieces, and it is so fun. I didn't think it was going to be that fun, but I thoroughly enjoy myself at Burns.
I remember in the other place, as we called it on this show, they had the Burning Man there too, didn't they? But people used to, when people were closing down their regions or something, they used to hold big parties of like destruction. And I think they were more popular, people would abandon the region, they wouldn't go there for ages, and when they announced it was closing, they would have a sort of smash it all up party. And those have always had lots of people. All the people wanted to join in the deconstruction, to put it politely. But yeah, fire
buildings is great.
Fire does have that emotive thing on you, I think. I mean, it's both scary and powerful, and sort of something. Well, it's light, isn't it, as well? It gives off warmth and light, and I don't know. It's sort of compelling in its way.
Yeah.
But what you better decide between you who's answering what question here. But what inspired you to bring this the version, as it were, of the Burning Man into Groovyverse and OpenSim in general?
Oh, I can answer that one.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, we had a event at that other place where we recreated the very first burn at the one that was held at Baker Beach in San Francisco. And during that burn, Hyacinth popped in to check it out. She liked what she saw so much that she offered Yuka some land so that we could go into Groovyverse and start doing the same sort of thing.
Right.
So the reason we had our 2nd year anniversary, that was not the 2nd year of Groovyverse, but rather the 2nd anniversary of Hyacinth deeding us the land so that the burners could move into Groovyverse.
Right.
It really was a game changer for our group because the other place is so limiting, and we were all very used to the limitations of that place. And then when Hyacinth deeded Yuka this massive place, we were just blown away by the scale. And it has been a steadily growing community ever since. People come in and they're like, wait, what? Look at this place. Look at the vistas. And you could, your scope, your depth of perception, it's just so much more real. and it
Land that
echoes.
extends beyond draw distance.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
echoes what the playa really feels like when you are out there in Nevada on the Black Rock Desert. It is massive and you feel small, and that was really hard to create in the other place. But here
Oh,
in Open Sim and at Groovy, it just happened and it was magical.
that's the first thing I noticed actually when we visited here on safari. No, previously is you start off with the vehicles and stuff like that, but then it just got wider and wider and wider expanse. And yeah, you do really feel small. I mean, I have my avatar over in the play of it, and I was in camera and I was panning my camera around. I think, well, where the hell did I put my avatar? There's a little speck down there somewhere, and I couldn't find it. And then came and got the escape key, of course. But yeah, you certainly do feel humbled by the size of the well, as you say, in the real world desert, it's sort of you're just in the middle of nowhere, basically, with I guess the campsite that comes with it, when everybody congregates.
What I thought was rather magical, because the real life Big Man's Burning, or I don't know what it's called, the festival exactly. It was drowned in rain, wasn't it, this year?
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yes.
And so it practically couldn't happen, and even firemen and police had to take people out of there because it was getting rather dangerous. And well, that is the thing that in virtual world cannot happen.
it's
So
Well,
it seems
actually, it
like
did happen in
magic.
the virtual world.
Yeah.
One of
In
our
honor of the rain, I actually raised the water level of the sim so that
oh,
the entire
Oh, did
desert
you?
was about 2.2 centimeters underwater.
Oh, did
but
you, sneaky,
the player and
sneaky guy?
the player and the puddles, eh? No,
I
I
made
know.
sure that the town was just under a meter over the surface of the desert. So yeah, we can flood the playa. As a joke, at the very edge of town, there's a building called the Lake Lahontan Yacht Club, and
Right.
Lake Lahontan is the Indian name for the playa.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
We
that's
live and
funny.
learn.
Yeah,
I
during
didn't
the
think
flooding,
about
one
that.
of our residents was trapped there during
Now we try to keep it a
aftermath. It was
magical
all mud.
experience. At the very beginning, we decided not to recreate real life aspects of it. So it's not the Black Rock Desert, it's the Black Rock Oasis. Instead of the town being called Gerlach, we call it Bruno, which is the name of one of the old time characters of town. And
Mhm,
instead of recreating reality, we are doing artistic impressions of the desert, of the event, and pretty much everything you see.
mhm. Interesting.
We're having fun with it.
And
We really
a convenient bit of water there too, to spoils the view a bit. Yeah, that was remarkable. That rain thing. Sort of, yeah, it was unheard of, really. So climate change and all that. And,
You never know what you're going to get, and it's very cool that Dr. Dave was able to echo that in world. It was a kind of a, like, if you knew you knew, but it was really special, and that's how we roll there in Groovyverse. We do things to surprise each other and delight each other, and that's I think what life is all about.
Pushing our boundaries one challenge at a time.
Figuring out how to make it work. Yeah.
Before this film runs out, which well, it does in a second, but we're at the end here. Back in the town here, of course, at the same time, you were having a kind of Pride Festival too, weren't you? Which, of course, at the same time as the Burning Man thing, it's like a big celebration of all these different things: Groovyverse, Pride, and of course the Burning Man. Did you get many people coming on Friday? It was far too late for me to make it, I'm afraid. European time, it would have been 3 a.m, I think. So
We had our Pride Festival. Since our 2-year anniversary fell in Pride Month, we decided to just simply get double duty and run with it. We redecorated the entire town, and when I say we, I mean Nomad, and others rainbowed the hell out of the place.
Beautiful. I
It's
have
Let me
to say,
shift over and see if I can get a better picture of the town.
it just really it meant a lot to me that you did the Pride.
Yeah, so here's
Festival.
a photo from a distance, and even pulling back on the panorama, you can see rainbows and balloons all over the place.
so sorry, you say here's a picture. We're talking. Oh, yeah,
On the screen on the right.
oh, Inworld, right? Okay, sorry, I need to cue James for that. Okay, fine. So screen on the right, yeah.
And
Okay,
also,
yeah.
we created a Pride shop where people can come and get clothing and street lights with banners to decorate their Sims for Pride if they would like to. So
Beautiful.
it's right near the landing area. Oh, Hyacinth, you
We-
were saying something?
Oh, I was just saying, you don't know how much this has meant to me.
We had one of our members.
Sorry,
she,
Hyacinth first, please. You're talking over each other. Hyacinth? Don't know how much it means to you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it just meant a lot to me because I unfortunately I work on the weekend, and so I missed a lot of things. But it meant so much that you guys did this festival, and I'm a transgender woman, so it is LGBT owned. So it's just it's really amazing to me because I didn't make it to the Pride Festival locally either, because I just work and sleep basically. So, it really meant a lot to me that we had this happening on the grid. So,
Yeah.
thank you guys.
It's funny, the rainbow thing too. I mean, outside of its symbolism with Pride, I've always sort of associated the Groovyverse itself with lots of vivid color. I don't know why. Maybe just places we've been. There's a few grids you get where people have lots of primary color and things, but no, it just coming around here the day after, it's sort of picking up on it all. And you've got things like peace signs and love is love and all that. It's not all a bit of everything nice about this, if you see what I mean. Why am I think I can pan around on my own video? I don't know. You ever get that strange feeling? You think you're in camera mode. Okay, this I'll let Hyacinth come with this. Actually, this is not your region per se. This is the landing region of Groovyverse. So if you just hop over there, as I did, before getting to your region, this is the region I found, and I thought we'd show this because it's actually a nice landing region. I mean. Well, let's get it playing. Maybe you'd like to talk us a little bit through this because you do know about it, don't you? The multiple flags and everything.
I'm sorry, Mel. I missed most of that. If that was a question for me.
Oh yeah, just so if, we're talking about this is the landing area. I was just saying, sort of do a bit of narration for us. Tell us what it's.
Oh, you might recognize that. That's actually the most of the welcome area from our first grid, HG Love.
Right. Oh,
yeah. I think you visited there before. Yeah, I remember standing there with you and having a conversation one day.
Yeah.
Years ago.
That's a long while ago. Yeah, but yeah, it's amazing with the history of Open Sim alone these days. It sort of goes back so far. Now I recognise this. I think I had a copy of that building multiple times somewhere.
I'm looking at that and I'm fighting the urge to try to pan the camera around.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was doing at this
time. I want to show you the train station.
Yeah, so watching video. Where's my fly cam? It's just so funny, isn't it? Really, as we're spoiled. We think we can fire up a camera at any given moment. It's a bit like a Grand Trunk Railroad, even that's that's primary colors as well. It's just that.
We have rail lines that just spider all over the grid. We have probably about 300 or 400 kilometers of rail that just go everywhere, all over the mainland.
Yeah, actually, this is
right there. Yeah,
this is where I go into the station at the end of the clip here, and all those
tracks go somewhere.
Well, it looks like a real station. Europe one way, America the other, except you'll sync on ways.
We actually have Paddington Station in London too. That's really accurate.
It's got a bit of that. Yeah, one of my local stations. It's got
that was a small one.
The roof, isn't it? That's Paddington style.
No, that's actually the small one. The Paddington Station's huge. That's on the other side of the grid.
This reminds me of when I had a kid and had a railway set, and I spent more time actually working out the environment around it than laying the railway tracks. But seen from the air there, you can just
Sam can't leave off a project like a normal person. He has to put bulldozers and holes and things like that at the end just to add some drama to it. Like when he stops, he was going to come back to it later. He leaves it so it looks like a construction site.
Oh, I've just realised those are right. I was wondering where they came from. Right. Okay. Okay, just a couple more slides before I switch to some of yours. These are ones you posted on Facebook, and I don't know where we got repeated and coming up, but basically I'll just show them here. I actually loaded it. I loaded the Facebook post as a slideshow, like I'm doing here anyway, and then just filtered it. So this is actually a film of a slideshow of your Facebook post. So we have actually got this. Actually does show what happened already night. For real, so to speak.
Yeah, I miss all the fun.
Yeah, so we all. It's all I find that well, yeah, we find the same thing. I'm sure Tosha would agree with me on this. Being in Europe, sort of American time is not quite the natural time for us to go out and party in the evening. So we tend to be more. I
work overnights at Walmart, and it's kind of like a warehouse job. It's really, really strenuous, and
sure.
Yeah, so I get home and I drop dead. I'm 55. I'm getting too old for this.
Hey, I'm 71, so way ahead of you. Yeah, James is no spring chicken either, for that matter, are you, James?
Well, we all look fabulous. We look so good.
That's right.
Just look at us.
That's right.
The wonder of avatars, eh? The train's on fire. You're not meant to burn the train, are you? You're meant to burn the man. Never mind. The sky there is lovely too. Is that just a wind light thing, or is that one of those EPs?
Hyacinth provided the sky for us.
Oh yes, that's the Milky Way sky. Yeah.
No, it just looks somebody. I think it's Wolf Temperatures had this sort of party a couple of weeks ago, and I had sort of photographs, and it had that star-filled sky which had the gradient in it, and then planets and moons and things hanging around. It's sort of you knew it was sky, but it also felt very rich. Things hanging around out there. Okay, that's the end of that slideshow, basically. So, right, we've done that business and we've done all this stuff, haven't we, too? Okay, let's move. Right, these. Oh no, I think this is when we were there on Safari. Let's move across now to. Let's start with you, Dave. You've got a small number of slides on your screen, haven't you? If you'd like to talk us through those. Looks like we're already halfway through them, but
sure.
Yeah, just flip back to the beginning. Hang on, I'll get you to the beginning. Yeah, there you are. Now you just click through them from there, I think.
So this is our town of Groovy. It's in the very corner of the 6x6 sim. So this is the landing point, our little bit of civilization. Right beside the landing point is what we call the Empire Store. And this is the little shop that we decked out with all of the donated Pride items.
All right.
I'd like to give a shout out to Ellen Terrazzo for donating a huge amount of our Pride decorations, and a shout out to Pauline for I think she made like 40 some odd outfits to go into the shop. A little bit of trivia. We call it the Empire Store because as you're heading out to Burning Man in real life, you'll pass through the tiny little ghost town of Empire, which consists of one store right on the highway and then a chain link fence around the town, an old company town that shut down when the gypsum mine closed. So
Ah,
that store is the only thing left of that town that's actually still running.
wow.
Yep. So we had our party in town. We had DJs, fabulous people dancing in costumes. And then we all loaded everyone onto a bus, a large futuristic bus, drove them out into the desert to an area next to the train tracks and a place called Frog Pond, a natural oasis that is in real life. And Nomad here recreated it in Groovyverse for us. So we have a place to hang out in the trees, float in the water, while being in the middle of the desert. We did a burn. We burned a large version of a train. I do not have any photos of that because I was running the burn at the time. And then, just on a whim, I pulled out there we are. I pulled out the man that you saw burning in the background.
Right.
Now, the photo here of the train, this is what I call the party train. When I found out that we had scripts that would allow us to make trains, I decided I wanted to have a rail line running all around this massive sim so that people could have a way of getting around without flying or teleporting. Because for some people, flying and teleporting essentially breaks the fourth wall.
Right.
So,
It does.
and again, it's like, okay, we have a train, we can put people on it and move them around like cattle. Or, again, as my compatriot here, Nomad, suggested, we turned it into a party train. We put dance poses on it, and we had fun making this.
I bet. Yeah. It's like an open top bus or a river cruise where you just take over the vehicle and make it into the venue. Yeah.
Well, in this case, the train also runs past the drive-by shooting range, something that we're developing so that people can ride on the train with guns and blast away at the targets next to it.
So much for peace. So much for peace and love. Oh, shoot
That's
it.
awesome. Peace
Shoot it.
and love, and pew pews and fun, and it's a little bit of an echo to the older, Wild West days of the town and the history, and everyone shooting at cans and things from the car. So we were thinking, well, that train ride is very long because the grid is so big. That we thought, oh, let's just like have things to do as you get to different areas of it. As everyone does, you want to build it for entertaining.
Well, it's amazing what you can do with scripts. Even if you've got a huge sim, you can still make it even bigger by having lots of twisty turns and things like that. Like on fairgrounds where they have these rides that actually geographically don't take up much room, but when you're riding them, they go on forever. Sort of illusion.
All smoke and mirrors.
It's all smoke and mirrors, indeed.
And it's the inner kid in us that we want to get on a ride, and the party train, you're dancing, the train is going, you're chatting with your friends. It's great. It's great. Dr. Dave put that party train together for us. And Hyacinth, I believe you also had something to do with that party train because we got the idea from the train that you had in another part of the sim. So, it's awesome.
Yeah,
We help you.
I'm not sure if you're using the same script as us.
And a shout out to Sam, one of our local locomotive engineers in Groovyverse. He helped us get started too.
Great.
Working together.
So, is that the end of the slides, or? Sorry.
Yeah, there was only 6 slides. The last slide is we got back into town and ended up having a pool party.
Oh, so this was the last one. Okay, sorry, I didn't know. Yeah. Yes, very good. And yeah, it's lovely. Okay, let's before I move on, any more questions for Red, Tosha or James? Any more questions about what we've seen so far?
I'm sorry. I have to excuse myself to everybody. Normally I talk more, but I just cannot hear almost anything. I just hear bits and pieces of what is said. So I feel bad talking. I don't know what about.
We're hearing you fine, actually. So it's sad. It's just one of these things. I think.
But I feel really a little handicapped. What I wanted to say, however, was to Dave, I really appreciate so much that you've done these things about Pride Month, because obviously also in Germany is the Pride Month now, and I think it's international. And in Germany, there is, as of late, so much ugly things about it, people opposing it and talking badly about the Pride Month and about the queer people, that it really breaks my heart. And therefore I think it's wonderful to see it here, so being so celebrated. It's just really, it means a lot to me.
Oh, thank you. It means a lot to me because I have quite a few friends that are in that community. So I'm very proud that I got to wear a custom shirt, rainbow shirt that had the word ally on the front.
Yeah.
My Groovy Verts avatar was wearing that shirt, but for technical reasons, I had to retire him and bring back Osgood instead. But I was happy. Go ahead.
Actually, the same here. I also have a lot of friends within the queer community, and also I consider myself an ally, and therefore it really means a lot to me. Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's really important to have a place where you're celebrated and welcomed. And, I am part of the queer community, and there are others in our group that are as well. And, it means a lot. I mean, we build these worlds of our making, and of our creation, and to be open and welcoming to all, that radical self-inclusion, inclusiveness is like really important to all of us, and everybody gets along. We all support each other, and it's a beautiful thing that I wish there was more of out in the real world.
I don't think Dave could hear me before. I just earlier I said how much this really means to me, because I am transgender. My son is actually transgender.
We got to have our 2-year anniversary and then decided to make it something larger than ourselves. And I'm very happy that it worked out.
Right, I think there's a bit of cross. I think our audio problems are catching up with us. A bit of crosstalk there, actually. But
okay.
Yeah, no mind. We're just showing a bit of film behind us. It's about 10 seconds of this. How about we move on to the other slideshow, which I guess it features a bit more of Groovyverse itself, doesn't it? Anybody with me?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, Hyacinth has been working on some surfing technology that I will let her talk about, that I am absolutely freaking excited about.
Uh,
All right. Okay, take it away, Hyacinth. And your screen is working, I think. Yeah.
Last year, well, actually 2 years ago, I started working on surfboards, and some really nice waves, and we have several regions on the grid where there's really excellent surfing. And one of our residents, Lily Sparks, actually really improved on my board. Hers is far superior. So now we have a variety of boards, and we're working on a new region called Cowabunga Bay. That's it's kind of it's a big tropical island, but it's we're kind of designing the architecture more like Martinique, kind of like French colonial. So it's a
Right.
little different than the usual like kind of tiki and bamboo everything, you know. But it's going to be a fun region. And we'll continue working on the surfboards. We have we have a big pier, and you could actually surf under the pier. And eventually, want to make the poles kill you if you run into them, and hazards.
Are you? It's a sideshow working for you, by the way.
Oh yes,
I can't see it.
There we go. Yeah, okay. I was just
I couldn't see it either.
Well, we're stuck. We're stuck talking about a surfboard, but I couldn't see anything. So there we are. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely.
I think something's in retrograde. All our technology is malfunctioning.
It seems that way. Yep.
Yeah, what is it? A peculiar day today or anything? I don't know. So what are we looking at now? This is a nice ornamental.
Oh, do
picture.
you mean the picture on the left?
Yeah, yeah. I thought you were talking. I thought you were talking
randomly going through the pictures. This is actually the goddess temple,
Right.
and there's seats all around it, and also a circle dance. So you can belly dance in a circle around the pool, and this was designed for. We used to have goddess devotionals and like kind of like a gratitude circle, and it was really it's kind of celebrating divine feminine, and mostly we'd go around the circle and just state our intentions, like I'm going to quit smoking this week or whatever, and also what's really important is we state things that we're grateful for, like I have enough food, I have a roof over my head, I'm in good health, and I'm thankful for family, that kind of thing, and in Second Life, we used to do this as a daily practice at the end of the day. And if you had a bad day, that would really kind of put things in perspective and turn your day around. So
Yeah.
I really like to get back into that when I kind of my work schedule settles and I have more time to do things.
Mm. So next slide, maybe.
So that's what that
Do
is.
you want me to forward the slides for you? Or, okay, you got it. Yeah.
And I just switched the picture. That's the Christmas party that our friends here had. It was kind of a sailboat regatta that went all around their other than their huge burn region that you've seen. They have a huge kind of archipelago connected to the mainland, and they have beautiful Hawaiian islands, and Herbie and Dee built Northern California with redwoods, and I think you visited that before too.
Well, I have something I'm holding back to the end actually, which is a couple of films about NorCal region, Northern California.
Yes,
there's some really nice films. I thought I'd throw in at the end, but we'll get to that in a bit. Yeah.
These guys were fighting a little bit, so I had to separate them. They're kind of like on separate ends of the grid, and they could just kind of sail across and visit each other.
That's the way you want it. Get in the water and just.
We have plenty of space. There's no need to fight. Yeah.
It's always entertaining to surf around these hazards, and they're quite huge, those hazards, but super fun.
Yeah.
All right, we're about to start the slideshow here, but I look at it. It says southbound. Oh, yeah, London Paddington. You've actually credited here. Yeah. I'm very familiar with Paddington. It's probably my closest mainline rail station to where I am, actually. So.
I wish I had pictures of it here. Sim did a beautiful job, and they're just you could just sit there all day and just watch all the freight trains shunting things around, and our rideable trains go through there too. But it's mostly like these just animated, just everyday work trains, just kind of doing their thing.
So they're all they are actually all sculpted on the lines and everything. And
Oh yeah, yeah. The whole world is in motion. It's just beautiful.
you have to swap the lines and move the trains around, and yeah, I love it. Like a toy train set kind of thing. Oh, that's good. A very convincing looking picture of that as well.
Okay.
Moving on. Oh, there we are. The train itself. Here we are.
Oh yeah, and I included several pictures of the trains going through the countryside. That particular line we're looking at, that runs for about 90 kilometers continuous. And in total, I think we have about 400 kilometers, probably more. Sam made a line, and I made a couple, and Dave made some beautiful lines, and kind of his sphere of influence. You know, it's amazing, and they're all starting to connect together, and yeah, it's very wonderful.
I mean, is it deliberate that these trains, of course, they all come from the steam train era, don't they? You've got a fascination with steam here, or?
Oh yeah, well we have Volkswagen buses that like ride on the rails, and roller coaster cars, and you know, this whatever. The train itself, it's actually just an invisible cube that just goes on the track, and you could link anything to it.
Yeah,
you could, yeah.
And they got sort of they're probably not very good for the planets at all, you know, but there's a certain drama about a steam train, you know, pumping its smoke out the top and shoveling the coal into the thing.
All the viaducts and things like that with the Victorian trains really kind of fit with that. Oh, and that's the new dance hall that we have at our welcome area that I just started putting up last week. And it's actually based on a real life place that's kind of nearby to me locally. It was at an old lake resort, and the place actually burnt down. But the inside's a little different, but the outside is actually very accurate to the original design. It's just this beautiful, just little lakeside concert venue, really, like Duke Ellington played there. Earl Torme used to play there all the time, and it's just one of those places that burnt down in the 1970s, and no one really knew that it was a really, really hopping place back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one, shall I click?
Okay.
Oh, there we are.
Oh yeah, there's the outside.
I clicked it for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the outside. That's actually very accurate. That would be the side that faces the beach, the little beach on the lake. And I just always imagine, you know, in the 1940s and 50s, to be like a really magical place at night where all the teenagers would go to dance. And I think my grandparents actually have been there when they were young, so to go out dancing, kind of like the Kinks tune. You know, about the
Celluloid Heroes.
Yeah, the Pally across the street, and his sister used to go dancing. You know. That makes me think of that.
All right.
Oh, and that's the little club putting together on the Cowabunga Bay region. And there's the beach at Cowabunga Bay, and we have a working roller coaster.
Oh, somebody's talking.
Yep, this is all in Cowabunga Bay. We have a road that goes all around, and this is actually my campaign office for state representative in New Hampshire. I'm running this year, and I've actually already won the primary. So it's very likely that I'll get in.
Which state are you in? I forgot to ask. California?
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, right? Okay.
Yeah. So there's not a lot of power in this position, but it's to represent a state representative for a little part of our city. Ward 5 in our
Right.
city.
Fantastic! Congratulations.
So yeah, I already.
So well,
won-
actually, I'm not good on American politics. Does that mean if you get it, you become part of the House of Representatives?
Not federal House of
Oh, right. Yeah,
Representatives.
it's a
The
local
the
government.
local state government. So,
Right. Okay.
but
Yeah.
you know, there's kind of, I don't know, bad thing happening, and we really need one vote really counts because
Yeah. Sure.
they're all pretty close, you know. So, so I actually got asked to run by a couple of the other representatives. It's not a big power trip, but I just feel like I'm being called to serve, you know. So, but yeah, it looks like I have a good chance of winning.
Great. Well, we're wishing you luck there.
Oh, thank you.
Go on. And, we're in a train again, aren't we?
Oh, this is along our train lines. In between the coastline, when the train goes between land masses, we have these kind of Jules Verne looking glass tunnels with like brass rings, and so we have these long glass tunnels that you go through, and Sam made all kinds of underwater scenes with like coral and mermaids and krakens. So
Yeah, I can just
look
look at the picture. It took me a while to click that it's underwater.
Yeah,
of course it is. Yeah, now I've seen it.
yeah, it just goes right through a tunnel underwater, and it goes for probably about 200 to 500 meters, and then it comes up on the next region. So that way we're not blocking all the sailboats.
So you don't necessarily need a boat to get across. You can take the underwater shuttle. I like it.
Well, we're big on sailboats too. So we don't want to put bridges across everything and block the sailboats. So this is the good solution.
There is some excellent sailing in Groovyverse and areas that have been made just for it. And the Hawaiian regions are one of those areas. You can go by Oahu, Kauai, Maui, Molokai, and they are somewhat realistic to the islands. So you'll have like the green side, the dry side. There's even a working volcano on the Big Island. And plenty of places to sail.
Great. I've just realised I've got a beeper thing here sending me bursts of messages here that you're talking, queuing each other in chat, which is quite nice. But what's this next one? They've got a waterfall. This is
another destination on the railway. This is Rivendell from Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
Oh, right, okay.
This actually came from a ore file that we got from Outworld. I feel really bad. I can't remember the name of the creator. But we expanded it quite a bit, and beyond that, we actually have started working on the Mountains of Moria, which I think the highest peak is about 1,200 meters. So it's quite an elevation climb.
Yeah,
and, So that section of the grid will be kind of our Lord of the Rings themed area. So.
Now we're on the surfing.
Yeah, there's more surfing.
So this is just actually, I think I went to Lana Safari where we did this. It's like a bit of a boat. You just get on the skateboard and get drowned when the tidal wave comes and it takes you.
Yeah, I think that was when I was first working on the surfboards. They've improved quite a bit since. And
they really have.
Yeah, lily boards are way better than mine. So
I can attest to trying out one of those. And if you thought I was bad with cars, I'm bad with boats, I'm bad with aeroplanes, and I'm even worse with a surfboard. I just couldn't quite angle it to get up to the whatever it does. Okay, next slide, I think. That's the first. That's when we started.
This picture This is actually on our web viewer that I'm developing. It's not completely an OpenSim viewer. It's WebGL, so it just loads in Chrome or Firefox web browser. And we have a different set of avatars. We use the same types of avatars that you use in VR chat. Ready Player Me. And they have like an avatar creator. You can kind of customize your own. So those avatars work with that viewer. And I had used Mr. Blue's Confor program. It just it takes the OR files of your regions and converts them to GLTF, which is a kind of a standard 3D format.
I quite like that because I mean, I'm a, you know, especially these days, I'm really sort of just in OpenSim to condense my activities a bit. But I've always liked the idea that you can actually go, you know, build in OpenSim, export it or onto a web page, right? And then you can give that link to anybody in Facebook or whatever who doesn't really care about your virtual worlds normally. You get them to land there and experience the thing that they would, you know, a small scene from what would otherwise be, you know, a big sim in OpenSim. And, you know, you can tease them in, as it were, to the real thing, you know.
Yeah, this is kind of a light version. And eventually we'll have local chat connected to it so they could actually visit and maybe come to a party and dance, and then the avatars will be able to see each other, but they'll really be in two different worlds.
Yeah.
They'll be able to interact and chat, you know, and stuff like that.
I've always thought that the idea of the virtual worlds, whether it's WebXR or, you know, Firestorm type worlds or whatever, you know, if the objects in these worlds can communicate, now, even though the platforms themselves don't communicate, but I mean, I remember before they have voice in the other place, Skype. You could buy a Skype phone in World and wear it. And if you came across somebody else wearing the same phone, you could telephone them through Skype. Whether they were a friend in Skype or not, didn't matter. It was like an anonymous use of Skype to call and talk to people you met in World. And, you know, it suddenly occurs to me, you know, that let's say in this web version, you know, you give away virtual Skype, you know, a piece of a phone, for example, that looks like Skype. And then they could use it to, and then they could use it to.
We don't have a voice solution in it yet, right now.
Yeah,
we do have voice to text.
Yeah,
you know, uses the Chrome's built-in.
Yeah, we had somebody on the show a few weeks ago who did that. They used the Microsoft version, I think, of whatever it was, text to voice, but. Yeah, it just always fascinates me that it's possible maybe to put objects in different kinds of worlds where the objects themselves can communicate with each other, even though the worlds themselves don't, if you see. But, yeah, technical stuff. Okay, where are we? Oh, no, there's a couple more slides I haven't seen yet.
Oh, that's another Christmas party. Yeah.
All right. Bit of a green costume there. And, oh, yeah, we're back.
We're back to that.
That's where we started. That's a lovely scene, isn't it? Right, now I've seen all this background chat going on. I mean, I think this means that some people can't hear us. So I will say, if on the off chance James or Tosha
it's been challenging today.
If James or Tosha can, Dave can hear. I'm just wondering if Tosha or James have any questions on this.
I don't have any questions, Mal, but I just, I love seeing a community like has been built here on Groovyverse. And, I hear the names of, this person contributed that and this person contributed that. And it's just, as usual, it's a community of people doing really fun things together. And so it's one of the reasons I really enjoyed the show. So congratulations to you all. I think you've built a great place.
Okay, well, I did say I've got a couple of films that we could possibly end with here, and actually we're not doing too bad on time. 5 minutes time before James makes the wolf howl. which is our message to stop. Right. There's a region called NorCal. And I was checking out Groovyverse and things today, you know, looking for, you know, stuff I could bring up here. And NorCal obviously stands for Northern California. And I think they've got a YouTube account called NorCal. And these were lovely videos. Now, I think the first one has the Mamas and Papas song on it. Yeah, but it's not the real thing. So it's probably fair enough to show it. The other one's got Hotel California on, which might be a problem. But I thought this was a wonderful film of the Northern California region as it's been built. And I will lower the audio. Are you familiar with this region, any of you? Dave, maybe?
NorCal was built by Herbie. We refer to Herbie as our building beast. The man churns out so much content with incredible detail.
Yeah, well, it's wonderful.
Yeah, he's amazing, and his builds are just so detailed. I love details, and when I cam around his builds, he even puts like electrical outlets in buildings.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, it's good, and you know, not all junkyards are nice and even. They're mainly a mess, and he has this way of arranging the visual clutter in the most realistic ways. The NorCal region is wonderful. You can bike it, you can hike it, you can take a car. The redwood forest is something that you should not miss. There's trails, and it all portrays some of the most beautiful aspects of California.
I was so impressed watching this, you know, but I didn't, I knew it wasn't connected with your regions other than being on the same grid. But yeah, it's well worth showing, as it were.
Yeah.
And is this actually it's a national forest called NorCal, or is that just?
That would probably be Big Basin, which is located in Northern California. Herbie has pretty much taken all of our kind of iconic little spots and recreated them so lovingly. And then also DZ has recreated areas of Northern California, and that's attached right next to Herbie's regions. And we all know each other and love each other, and we all have different ideas of how we like to build. And in Groovyverse, Haya has made room for everyone's vision. So I mean, I couldn't be more grateful.
Oh, I couldn't be more grateful myself. You guys add so much life to our grid. Wonderful.
Aw, thanks for saying that.
And there's even a part two. This is it's a different background, but unfortunately, I think it's the Eagles singer, so I better make sure this is almost muted. Oh, that's not.
Roth is another one of our residents. He makes the most beautiful videos and photography.
This reminds me of
this.
Like wandering around in Myst, or one of those games where, you know, not really interactive, but just so rich, you know, as you move around in them. And of course, you know, this is almost built for a 3D headset, actually, or you think it would, but yeah, it's really just so well built.
We just have wonderful creative people on our grid. It's I don't know. There's so much negativity, like on Open Sim World and stuff, and I'm just so grateful we just have such wonderful people on our grid and a relatively peaceful society.
How I forget how old is actual Groovyverse itself now? It's 3 or 4 years, is it? I mean, I know your thing we were celebrating was 2 years, but the grid itself, how many years has it been going now? You're not hearing me. Oh well.
I wish I knew the answer to that, because I would definitely. But I mean, Hyacinth, came to one of our parties, invited us there. It was 2 years ago. I'm sure she's been working on her grid for longer. Haya, can you hear Mel?
She was fine earlier. I think we've. Are you, Hyacinth? Are you muted or unmuted or?
Oh no, I can.
Oh, you can hear it.
No, yeah, Nomad kind of broke up. I didn't really hear that last bit.
Oh right, yeah. She was just cueing you about. I was asking how old Groovyverse itself was and how long it had been going. I suppose the whole grid, that is. Yeah.
Oh, I just couldn't be happier. I mean, we have kind of a small user base, but everybody is just so creative, and there are just people constantly on. And I just I come home from work in the morning, and I go do the rounds and just check on the grid, make sure regions are up and everything. And it's like, where did all this come from? It's just it's amazing. It's like magical elves have been working all night, Yeah.
That is wonderful about the living environment, isn't it? Where people can collaborate and everything. You can log off for a night, and overnight somebody in that region comes and does something, something incredible, and then you wake up in the morning and think, "What the has happened here?" There's that sense of exploration too. It's and when I used to try my hand at building, I used to get a lot of sort of mesh shapes, as it were, and scale them and do all sorts of things. And I just dump them down from the sky willy-nilly. And then when I created this, world, I'd actually go down to Earth and walk around in it and sort of explore it, because working from the sky, I had no idea what I was doing. So I would then go down and find out, But
a lot of the terrains that we have, I actually just got random, geographic survey, digital elevation maps, and I just made terrains out of them. And then when I actually got down to explore, because I have a script that just kind of randomly fills it with forest. So my own places that I created, I just get completely lost, and I find oh wow, there's a lake here. How did that get there? And just you just walk through all the ravines and stuff, and you have no idea where you are unless you look at the map. It's it's pretty amazing.
My favorite is you're on your own land, you don't know where you are, and say, "Well, this would make a good place for a cave." I've left a hole here, I might as well have a cave. Yeah. Now we are back in Tropical region again. That's a nice place up at the moment, isn't it? Lovely stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even seen half of this stuff.
I actually this morning I actually decided I just pressed the subscribe button to this channel, and I thought I've got to see more of this. But I thought these ones were appropriate to finish today with. It almost makes you want there to be a story and a film in this somewhere. You got to turn the corner and find something happening or encounter people. I don't know.
Lots of little Easter eggs as well, that people tuck around, and so you'll see something, and if you're a local, a Northern California person, you're like, oh my God, they captured, the giant cup of coffee, or some roadside attraction, and that's always fun, and we always are doing little surprises like that for each other.
Monterey, of course, that's where the festival was so many years ago. Okay, right. Well, I think we don't know. I think we're at the point where we can sort of start to wrap up, actually. Yeah, you see, I told you the wolf would be hungry. We have a dog here. And if we go on too long, it starts complaining. It needs feeding.
that's
So that tells us we have to start wrapping up the show. So that's perfect timing. Good on you, doggy. Right. Well, this has been absolutely great. But as I say, we do need to wrap up. Any James and Tosha, I don't know how our audio is staying here. Any sort of final comments, questions from either of you?
No, really
No.
not. I wouldn't know what to ask about because I almost didn't hear anything. And
Okay.
now here it is the evening before San Juan, and the only time that in Spain there's artificial fireworks, and it started just now.
Oh,
And
right.
it brings a lot of noise with it when it really comes up.
Right. Yeah, we have to wait till November the 5th. But that's that's same here. Okay. Well, and James, any final thoughts?
No,
Or,
just really fun to see this fun place, and I'd like to go back again. I definitely go back exploring and,
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you're
and have
will.
some good times. Ride
I
that
will
train again.
definitely have to go because I didn't get anything what you guys said about it, so I had better go and look for myself.
yeah.
Excellent.
At,
Come
le- at,
visit
le-
anytime.
at least you managed to see the pictures and things, which is half the
Yeah, I
story.
did. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but I also have
Okay.
a problem with the pictures because if I focus too much on the pictures, my head turns towards the pictures, and then I have James in my neck complaining about
That's
my
right.
turned head.
Oh my
Oh,
God, those in-world problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just need
oh,
another
you three,
animation.
you three have come along on one day when everything is unraveling in front of you. Never mind. We must have a word with Discord about this business. Okay, well, I'd like to thank everybody from Groovyverse for being here. Of course, Grid Nomad, to be precise. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for having us on. When you reached out to me, I was like, oh my God, I know who this guy is. I've seen him, I've seen the shows, and I was so tickled that you reached out to us. So thank you, and it's been an honor.
Well, your publicity inspired me, put it that way. Right, and also Dr. Dave. Thank you, Dr. Dave.
Thank you for having us. This has been fun getting a chance to talk about our work out there. Come on out, visit, explore. If you're afraid of clowns, do not venture south of the playa.
Oh, very good, very good. And all right. And finally, I got a frog in my throat, as they say, typically at the end of the show. And also Hyacinth. So thank you, Hyacinth, as well.
Oh, thank you so much for having us. This is so fun.
You did post a photograph of yourself out there saying if I want a photograph, and well, I don't know, we're not showing it anyway, but I would I would comment on.
I actually look exactly like my avatar.
Well, exactly. I was going to comment on that.
Actually,
The moment your avatar arrived, I thought, that's the woman in the photograph.
Yeah, but my avatar has a lot less wrinkles.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Like 18. Yeah.
Yeah, we all try to disguise the wrinkles and sort of take a few decades off our age and everything.
Well, I'm so glad I was finally able to come on here. I'm trying to be less reclusive and enigmatic.
That was great.
Well, you've done a good job. And I think we'll have you back at some point too. But we must cover a bit more of Groovyverse itself, actually, now, because there are so many.
There's a lot to see.
Wonderful. And that in Northern California, I almost want to do a whole show just on that. Okay, so thank you all three of you. It's been a wonderful show. Thank you also to my co-host here, Tosha Ryran. Thank you, Tosha.
No, well, for nothing tonight.
Well, I'm sorry. Whimper.
I don't know. Maybe it's a thing between my Spanish mountain here and the crazy fireworks, and I don't know what, but it's been terrible.
Yeah, I think it's a major Discord problem today.
Okay.
Which shouldn't affect us, but it seems to have done anyway.
Sunspots.
Yep. Sorry?
Sunspots, solar storms. We can blame a lot of things.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, right. Yeah, there has been solar storms and things
Yeah.
recently.
that could be
there
too.
must be things. They can disrupt our electronics. I don't like the sound of that.
So I normally never have a problem here. I have a really good connectivity up on my mountain, but tonight it's been, and only the sound, not the pictures. Only the sound's been terrible.
Oh, I have good network, and it's just Discord. It's for everybody.
Yep.
Oh, well, we live and learn, but hopefully
What-
we'll be all safe and sound again when we're back this next week. Thanks also, of course, to my right-hand man with the knobs and everything, James Atlloud. Thank you, James.
Yep.
And thank you from me, of course. So without further ado, we should dissolve into whatever time of day it is with you. As I always say, I'm going to wish you a very good morning, very good afternoon, a very good evening, or indeed a good tomorrow, depending on wherever and whenever you are. And it's a wrap. Bye for now.